Hi everyone, I'm Hannah, and today we're going to go through a restorative low flow. So making sure that your hammock is underneath your knees when you're standing, so quite low. We want it quite low to the ground. We're going to do a lot of fun, nice, really slow postures today. Feel free to stay in each posture a little bit longer than I allow you to. Feel free to pause your video and hold it as long as you feel needed. Okay, let's get started. Okay, we're gonna start with our feet in our hammock. So just our ankles in there, our feet to a V. Place our hands by our side and roll it on down. Release your neck. Maybe jiggle out your shoulders, opening up your chest. Bring your hands by your side, palms facing up. Taking a deep inhale through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Inhale, opening up the chest. Inhale through the nose and exhale it out through the mouth. Either keeping your gaze soft or closing your eyes fully down. Just take a moment here to notice how your body feels today. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of tension in your shoulders or your hips or your arms, just feeling where those little tensions, little niggles might be, and just releasing them out. Noticing how you're feeling in your mind today. Just notice that and send it away. And bring your awareness to your breath. And the cool inhale as it comes into your nostrils. And the slight heat as it releases out of your body. Take a few more breaths here. Inhale. And exhale it out. Let's add a little sway to our feet from side to side. Just really slow movements, waking up our hips, just getting them a little bit moving our lower back. And let's rock our neck from side to side, just turning over one way, turning it over the other. Just stretching out the sides of our neck, getting that moving. Coming back to center. Stopping in stillness. And we're going to release our left knee to our chest, hands clasped behind our shin, and bring it underneath your armpit. And let's roll little circles with that knee, opening up the hip one way, keeping that foot flexed. And roll it back the other way. Just getting a little bit of movement in the body this morning. Working into that hip. Okay, putting your hands by your side, and you're just going to scooch yourself over to the left side of the mat, lifting up that left knee. Right hand comes onto the left shin, and crossing it over your body, coming to a spinal twist, releasing your left hand out to the side. So left knee falls over to the right side of your body. Trying to keep both of our shoulders on the earth, eyes gaze towards our left fingers. Take a deep inhale and exhale it out. See if you can fold a little bit further over into that twist. Taking a few slow pauses here. Inhale and release a little bit further with your exhale. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, coming back to the center, placing our torso back in alignment, and replace the left foot into the fabric, bringing our right knee to our chest, hugging it under our armpit, flexing that foot, and rolling little circles one way with the knee. Just adding a little bit of movement. And let's roll it back the other way. We're going to do quite a few hip openers in this class and quite a few hamstring stretches. So we're just going to warm it all up first. Okay, so placing your hands onto the mat, scooching yourself over to the right side, bringing your right knee up, left hand onto the right knee, crossing that knee over to the left side. Placing your right hand out to the side, eyes gaze towards the right fingertips, and releasing it out into that beautiful side twist. Inhale and exhale, release. See if you can fall a little bit further with every exhale. Keeping both of our shoulders onto the earth. Take a few more breaths here. One more breath. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Let's roll back on to our flat back. Bring our torso back to the middle. Bring our right foot into the fabric. We're going to bring our knees nice and wide, bringing our heels together, bring them towards our pelvis. Inhale and exhale, extend it out. Inhale, bring it in with your own breath. Exhale, extend it out. So hands can be by your sides or over your head, whatever feels good for you. Inhale, bend it in. Exhale, extend it out. Inhale it in. Exhale it out. 2 more of these with your breath. Inhale and exhale, extend. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Okay, bringing your hands by your side, chin to our chest, coming up onto our forearms and coming to a seat. So bringing your knees wide into that bound angle or butterfly pose again, and bringing your feet together in the hammock. Hands come around the front of the hammock. Hands come onto our toes. Sitting tall and lengthening our spine. Inhale and exhale, release it forward. See if you can elongate the spine, reaching the torso, the chest forward, and then releasing the head down if you can. Coming to this really beautiful variation of bound angle pose. A few more breaths here. See if you can release, reaching the chest a little bit closer. With all these poses that we're doing, see that with every exhale you can get a little bit closer, a little bit further into that stretch. So we're going to be holding them for a little bit of time, so it's nice to see how far we can go into it. But always stop yourself just make sure to stop yourself when you're feeling any pain or any restriction. Always pull it back. So just go to where you feel comfortable and where feels good for your body. You know your body best. And release it down. We'll have 2 more breaths here. Exhale it out. Inhale it in. And exhale it out. Okay, with our feet in this posture, I'm going to keep them in that posture, sitting tall. Inhale our hands high. Bring our hands onto the fabric in front of us. We're going to push down into the fabric with our feet, pull up with our biceps, and keep our knees nice and wide. So pushing down, pulling up. It's okay if you swing, and keeping our knees nice and wide either side of the fabric. One hand comes up, left hand comes through, swimming the torso through the fabric. And feel free to hold it here if that feels good for you. So this coming to our lotus, or often called flying butterfly pose. Option to stay there, or inhale, bringing your right hand through so both of your shoulders are against the fabric behind you. Bring your hands onto the fabric, thumbs dialed down towards the ground. See if you can sit back into the fabric, bringing your feet in front of your pelvis. See how that feels, if that's an extra stretch. If that is totally fine and you're loving that, you're also feeling nice and stable, release your hands to a press. You're pushing back into the fabric with your shoulders. If at any point this hurts a little bit too much in the knees, feel free to come back up and holding here. So take a few breaths wherever you are. Maybe shut down the eyes, breathing in to our hips. 2 more breaths, keeping a nice straight back. Inhale, right hand comes onto the fabric, left hand comes up, pulling yourself up if you've gone to that little seat. Bring one hand through, other hand through, extend our legs forward and sliding down onto the ground, bringing the fabric to our heels. Now, an option here is to put a block or a bolster underneath your legs if you're feeling like you're not very comfortable in this pose. We're going to release our left knee to the side. So our left knee is to our right thigh. And another option, to bring a block under your right buttocks or under your left knee, whatever feels more comfortable for you, or you can just hang it out here. Sitting tall, inhale, hands come high. Exhale, releasing it over that right foot into this really lovely hamstring stretch. See if you can bring your hands onto the fabric or even onto your foot. Lifting your chest, exhaling it over. And then see if you can release your neck over that stretch. Take a few breaths here. Maybe you want to add in a sway or a pulse if that feels good for you. Breathing it in, exhaling it out. A few more breaths. So again, feel free to hold any of these poses as long as you feel that you need to. Hamstring stretches and hip stretches are really nice ones to just sink yourself into, especially if you're working on your splits. These are great few poses for you to do, and just to let yourself hang out in for as long as you feel like you can. All right, a few more breaths here. Inhale, roll it back up. Placing your hands on your left side, we're going to rotate towards the opposite wall. So keeping your right leg out stretched and your left knee folded in front of us. Bring your right hand onto the mat in front of you. You're going to push into that right leg with the back of your right hand. Bring your left hand out to the side, flipping the hand, bring it up and over. See if you can catch a hold of the fabric. Bring your right arm down onto the ground. So we're turning our torso towards the sky. See if you can grab the fabric. If you grab the fabric, see if you can walk your hands further down. Maybe you can grab your foot even. But making sure that your torso isn't facing your leg, you need to be opening up the chest, bringing it up towards the ceiling. A few deep breaths here, see if you can really sink in. Breathe it in. A few more breaths here. One more breath. Inhale, release the hand. Bring the hands back towards us, and we're rotating the body back to the front of your room. I'm going to bring our left foot into the fabric. So both of our feet are inside the fabric, coming to our forward fold with both legs. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, reaching for your fabric or your feet. Getting your chest high and releasing it forward. Breathing over your hamstrings. If it's a little bit too intense, you can keep a bend in your knees, or you can release your hands to the floor and reach your chest forward. Deep breaths here. Two more breaths, melting into this stretch. Inhale, roll it back up, releasing our right leg out to the side, right foot to our left thigh. And again, adding in a bolster or a block if that feels good for you. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, release all the way over that leg. Bring your hands to your foot or to the fabric, releasing it all the way down. Bringing that chest towards the earth. Breathing into that stretch. Maybe you add a little sway or a pulse forward and back. Whatever feels good for you is in and is in your practice. A few more breaths. Okay, let's roll it back up. Place your hands onto the right side. And we're going to open it out onto the opposite side. So you guys will be seeing me from this, from behind me. So bringing your left hand down onto your mat in front of your leg, flipping your right hand up and over, reaching for the fabric if you can grab it. And opening up the chest, eyes gaze towards the ceiling. Really opening it up here. Option to walk your hands down the fabric, see if you can go a little bit further, or grab your foot, but making sure that our chest is open. We're not facing our foot at all. A few more breaths. Really reaching with that top hand. One more breath here. Inhale, release the top hand, come back to the center. And we're going to release our foot from the fabric. Okay, so we're going to come onto our knees now and just walk yourself underneath the rigging point. Bring your hands to your hip bones, hands about hip width apart. Bring yourself through the middle. We're going to hinge at the hips. So hinge at the hips, falling forward. Release your hands or your forearms to the earth and release your legs up, one at a time. So you come to this plank pose. You might need to readjust yourself if you feel like the fabric isn't under your hip bones. If it's not, just get it back there. And let's add a little rock forward and back in this little plank pose. Getting us ready for our puppy pose. A few more breaths here. Feeling that massage in your hips. Such a good feeling sometimes, just to let the hammock hold you. Let yourself be held. Okay, bending our back knees and bringing our hands out in front of us, stretching forward. Bending our chest down towards the earth and bringing our chin onto the mat. Taking a few breaths here. If this pose does not feel comfortable, feel free to bring your hands in front and just bring your forehead down instead of coming to full puppy pose. Okay, stretching with our fingers. See if you can walk your fingers a little bit further forward if you're in full puppy. A few more breaths. Breathing it in and exhaling it out. Two more breaths here. See if you can walk your fingers a little bit further forward, bring your chest a little bit closer to the ground. Inhale, slowly walking the hands back through to our feet and bring your body back through. Nice work, guys. Okay, so we're going to come into the hammock now. So we're going to bring your thumbs into one edge of your hammock. So just finding the edge and fanning it all the way out, making sure it's not folded over itself on the other side. Once you've opened up your hammock, grabbing both edges with your hands, you're going to bring one edge through the middle, fold it over itself. So you have both edges on one side and you can open it all up. And then we're going to do that one more time. So bringing one edge through the middle, fold it over itself. And come to about that much, maybe a little bit less fabric. Once we've got our nice fold, we're going to bring ourselves in front of the fabric, bring our thumbs into one opening, and come in to a little seat. Bring our hands back through. So just fan it out as much as the fold will allow. So we did this so that we don't have too much fabric. Definitely feels better on the body when we have lesser amounts all bunched up in one area. Okay, so from here, making sure that you scoot yourself so you have a bit of fabric here that you can pull up behind you and it comes into just above your hip bones here. Yep, so no higher than your waistline. Hands come onto the fabric and your feet are on the ground in front of us. We're going to roll our hands down slowly all the way until your shoulders hit the ground. You're coming to this really nice supported bridge pose. So you can keep your feet flat on the ground, or you can extend your knees, extend your legs out in front of you, if that feels good for you. Shut down the eyes. Take an inhale through the nose. And exhale it out through the mouth. And let yourself just sink into this back bend, to this inversion. Take a few breaths here. Breathing it in. And releasing it out. Melting into the hammock, melting your shoulders into the ground. Two more breaths. Inhale. Exhale it out. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, option to stay here, either in your extended bridge with your legs out or your knees up. Or you can come with me and come to a legs up the wall pose. So bringing one leg up at a time and just balancing it against the side of your pole of your hammock. So one at a time, both of them comes up, find that comfortable position. You'll have to make sure that the fabric around your hips is above your hip bones for this to feel super comfortable. So your legs, just the side, are hitting into the sides of your fabric. If you have a double point hammock, this one you might be able to let your feet tuck into the sides of your fabric. With a single point, it's a little bit harder. You just need to balance your feet onto the sides and just come to a restful, comfortable pose. Maybe swaying your hips from side to side. So this is a legs up the wall pose, similar to legs up the wall in traditional yoga. But it's just a bit more elevated. We're making it even more an inversion. The best thing about low hammock and restorative poses for me is that it allows more of us to be able to invert and more of us be able to stay in an inversion for a longer period of time.
So often with the higher hammocks, when our head is completely off of the floor, we can't hold those poses for quite as long. Whereas with the lower hammock, it just allows us to really sink into an inversion and stay there for longer periods of time. Okay, a few more breaths here. Okay, option to stay in this pose with your legs up the wall, or you can come down to your supported bridge, or option to come with me and just inch up the fabric so that it comes a little bit higher on your thighs, just underneath your butt. Hold on to the fabric, bring your knees wide and around the fabric. So your knees are coming around wide and your feet come in front of the hammock. You can add your ankles to, you can put your ankles behind the fabric to hook them all on, or you can just release and bring your feet to a peace pose. And release it out. Adding a little sway in whatever variation you've chosen. Taking a few breaths in. Exhale it out. Releasing all your weight into the hammock. Feeling yourself create space in your spine. Come back to how your body feels, how your mind feels. Are you feeling a little bit better from the start of the class, or has there been any change at all? How is your mind feeling? What have you got buzzing on in your head today? As soon as a thought comes to you, just take note of that thought and then send it away. No matter what kind of thought it is, take note and send it away. And try to focus back on your breath and how you're feeling. Okay, 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale it out. When you're ready, release 1 foot at a time, back down to the ground, and swing out the hips, release it down. Inhale, chin to our chest, bring your hands onto the fabric in front of you, and pulling it back up to a seated. We're gonna bring our shins underneath our body here, bring our hands onto the fabric, rolling it down behind us, grabbing onto the fabric and bring it up and over our head. Scooching yourself back so you're just behind the ringing point, bring your hands down to about shoulder width apart. We're gonna come to some little cat-cows. So inhale, sitting tall, exhale, release it forward, bending the chest down towards the earth, bending in the elbows, breathing it in. Releasing the neck here. And curling the spine, arching up, extending the arms out in front of us. And roll through with your breath. Inhale, dip it down. Exhale, roll it back up. A few more breaths here. Breathe it in. And roll it through. 2 more breaths. Okay, let's roll it all the way back up. Bring our hands just a little bit higher onto the fabric. Grabbing a hold, sitting back onto our feet. And we're gonna roll ourselves back. You can release your neck if that feels good for you, or keep your chin to your chest. Slowly walk your hands back down and just stop wherever feels good for you. Your head may be on the earth behind you, or you could be a little bit higher up. Just release wherever feels comfortable. Inhale and exhale it out. Two more breaths. Inhale, chin to chest, engaging the abs and pulling back up. We're going to send it forward, rolling it out, and release the neck between the hands, and adding a little sway from side to side. Coming back to center, let's roll it back up. Oh, nice work, guys. Okay, let's separate our fabric. Finding one edge and just fanning it out so that the whole thing is not folded over itself. Bring your thumbs into the fabric behind you. Take about 5 grabfuls and come in to a seated. Bring the fabrics around your knees. Hands come up and over the fabric behind you. Bring our feet into the fabric, release it out, and bring the fabric behind our head. Releasing our arms over our head or across our chest, whatever feels comfortable for you. And just let yourself sink in. Focus on how you're feeling, how your body feels now. And let's release into our shavasana. Taking an inhale through the nose and exhale it out through the mouth. Taking note of your body, releasing any tension in your forehead and your jaw. Maybe taking the tongue off the top of your mouth to release that jaw even further. Release any tension in your neck, in your shoulders. Release all the tension in your chest, in your belly, in your hips. Scan yourself the whole way down. Release the tension in your thighs, knees, ankles, and toes. And let yourself fully release into the shavasana. I recommend staying in this pose as long as you can. Ideally about 10 minutes. Just let yourself fully relax and then slowly pull yourself up when you're ready. Thank you for joining me today, guys.